Each one of us has to start out by developing his or her own definition of success. And when we have these specific expectations of ourselves, we are more likely to live up to them. Ultimately, it is not what you get or even what you give. It is what you become. Hello everyone, my name is Ruben Cabrera and I just have quoted Mary Maxwell Gates, the mother of Bill Gates. If you are interested in knowing how Bill Gates' brain works or how he thinks, stick with me today, for I will be sharing with you what I have learned from watching Netflix's series Inside Bill, Decoding Bill Gates, Part 3. One of the first things I become aware of is that Bill Gates considers himself to be a lucky person. If you watch part 1, 2, and 3, you come to realize that he mentions it, or is mentioned in each part, I believe. The intro starts with the director and him playing a card game, I believe, War. And Bill Gates keeps winning the game. And after the game, Bill Gates wins, and the director tells him, "You're lucky in life, war," and Bill Gates even throws in love. So that's one of the first things that I would like to share with you, that he considers himself to be a lucky man, a lucky person. To many of you, you might say, well, of course he considers himself lucky because of success. But what if he considered himself lucky without those successes? And because he considers himself lucky, that attracts success. Because he focuses on the good things and not on the bad. He focuses on opportunities, on the positive, on the optimistic view of life, and not on the negative. That's something that you could think about. I'll be sharing with you a quote from Bill. I've always had somebody who's, a key person who cares as deeply as I do, but brings a different skill mix. In the case of Melinda, it's a truly equal partner. She's a lot like me on that she's optimistic and she's interested in science. Why did this one also catch my attention? Because to me it is telling me that Bill has always surrounded himself with someone who is like-minded, somebody who has similar interests, somebody who has similar skills, somebody who has the ability to do the things he is doing, somebody that is almost like him in a way, same views, same goals. So they're focused, they're like-minded, they're together striking the same mission. So maybe by attracting people or socializing with like-minded people, it will help you achieve success. Another thing that is mentioned here is that when he says she's a lot like me in that she's optimistic, again bringing up an optimistic view of looking at things. She's optimistic and she's interested in science. They have the same values, and they look, excuse me, las enchiladas. And that she's optimistic. She has the same view towards the world, towards life. So if you want to boost in success, maybe it's time for you to start hanging around or partner up with somebody or associate with somebody who is interested in the same goal as you, but not only interested, but has the ability to put in the work and have the skills required to get the job done. Melinda mentions that Bill Gates is a curious person. And if you haven't watched part 3, you will become aware that Bill Gates has this huge library in his home. And he's not one of those folks that just has this huge library and doesn't read his books. He reads his books constantly and is always switching on the books he reads. He's always reading different books. He's a man that reads his books. Not like I'm guilty of having books and not reading all of them, but I'm working on it. I'm putting in work. Now I'm going to share with you the perspective of two men. Not the perspective, but how two men look at a problem differently. How two men approach a problem differently. How two men think differently. When faced with a problem, the director tells Bill Gates, "So we need a miracle. We need a magic bullet." Bill, "Well, we need innovation across a lot of different areas." Pay attention here to this. Director, "So we need a miracle. We need a magic bullet." Bill, "Well, we need innovation. Well, we need innovation across a lot of different areas." You have one man who is relying on miracle, on magic, to solve a problem. The solution to his problem is for a miracle or magic to happen. But on the other hand, Bill's solution, his way of striking the problem is by creating innovation across a lot of different areas. So if that says something to you or not, it did to me. It's not relying on something that maybe, or I don't know, maybe, he's actually putting in the work, and you could tell he knows his stuff instead of relying on a maybe. When Bill Gates is asked by a reporter in one of his old interviews, the reporter asks Bill, "Do you view yourself as a workaholic, or do you handle that term, or how do you handle that term, that label?" Bill, I believe that the richness of life and the learning and stimulation that I like. So the long hours I work, no, they're not for everybody, but I think it's great." So to Bill, working so much fulfills his learning and fulfills his learning stimulation. I get the richness of life and the learning and stimulation that I like. So he gets the stimulation and the learning that he likes by working so hard, working so many hours. He believes he gets the richness of life through learning and the stimulation. I believe that the richness of life, I get the richness of life and the learning and stimulation that I like. So to him, working those hard hours during Microsoft time, when he was interviewed, it was something that brought him richness to life. So that is his word, that is how he defines workaholic. When asked by the director, "When you have a massive setback, how do you deal with that?" Bill, I try and step back from it and try and be more objective. So when he has a huge, massive setback, he steps back and tries to be more objective on his view. Director, your ability to detach emotionally from big things is a superpower. Does it ever get you in trouble? So here we have the director changing his words. Instead of saying it, is it also, he changes it by saying, "Does it ever get you in trouble?" Bill Gates, sure, I'm able because I've had a lot of success and I have resources. to go do risky things. And like any good leader, people will follow you, and if you're leading them into a ditch, it's a bad thing. So here we have the director complimenting Bill on his ability to detach himself from big things, that he says it is beneficial, but at times it could bring him down. And Bill agrees to that because he has been successful, but he also realizes that if he makes mistakes, he is also bringing people down. Dr. Sue Desmond, one of Bill Gates' business partners, friend, when there's something that doesn't go well, he tries to learn why didn't that go well. When Bill Gates is striking a project, is working on a project, he quotes this. He says, I quote Bill Gates, "There has been hundreds of articles written about, hey, this could be done, but we chose to do it." So he's saying that there's been a bunch of articles produced or made towards the project that Bill Gates is working on, but many people don't take action, and Bill decided to take action. So you can see what Bill Gates and what other people don't. Bill takes action. Success takes action. Will you take action, or will you wait for someday? That is really important when he mentions it. There's been hundreds of articles written, this could be done, but not many decided to do it, and they chose to do it. Maybe that's one of the things that separates Bill Gates from other people. He decides to take action. When Bill is asked, is there a part where you say, this is way too hard, I took on too much, I quit? Bill Gates replies, sometimes you really do have to say, let's give up. And sometimes you have to just say, I need to work harder. Pay attention to how he thinks. Instead of, many people would just quit. But to Bill, he just says, I need to work harder. But sometimes he does come to realize it. But that is usually his approach to solving problems. Work harder. To solving problems, or finding solutions, or succeeding, or achieving. So this is what I have learned from watching Bill Gates, Inside Bill's Brain, Decoding Bill Gates, Part 3. I quoted in the intro Bill Gates' mom quote. It is really powerful, I believe. Maybe you can answer those questions, get a notebook, and write out what she said in developing your goals or your future, and reflect on what you have learned today. And if you would like to learn more, watch Netflix's series Part 1, 2, and 3. You will learn a lot more than I have shared with you today. And if you do, share with me in the comments below, what did you learn? Thank you for watching. All I ask of you is to share the story. Thank you.